The top 10% of America's wealth distribution bear responsibility for 40% of the greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. According to a recent report in PLOS Climate, conducted by the University of Massachusetts Amherst, the wealthiest 10% of Americans are responsible for 40% of the country's greenhouse gas emissions. This is the first study to establish a correlation between income, particularly income generated from financial investments, and the emissions utilized in the creation of that income. The report proposes that lawmakers consider implementing a tax system that prioritizes the carbon intensity of investment incomes and shareholders in order to achieve the objective of limiting global temperature increase to 1.5 C, while also ensuring fairness. For quite some time, experts in the fields of science and environmentalism have been aware of the correlation between greenhouse gas emission and our consumption habits, including the types and volume of food we consume, the mode of transportation we use, and the items we purchase. Environmental policy initiatives have traditionally aimed to either curtail consumption or steer it towards more eco-friendly alternatives. Examples of this include promoting plant-based diets in place of red meat and advocating for electric cars instead of gas-guzzling ones. According to Jared Starr, a sustainability scientist at UMass Amherst and the primary investigator of the recent research, approaches that limit greenhouse gas emissions based on consumption are fundamentally regressive. These approaches tend to penalize lower-income individuals disproportionately while having minimal impact on the wealthiest, who typically save and invest a significant portion of their earnings. Consumption-based strategies ignore a crucial factor: carbon pollution generates income. However, when this income is reinvested in stocks instead of being spent on necessities, it evades a carbon tax based on consumption. Starr poses the question, what occurs when we shift our attention from the role of emissions in enabling consumption to their role in generating revenue? Providing a concise response to what appears to be a straightforward inquiry is anything but simple. While it is relatively uncomplicated to obtain a brief overview of wages and salaries, which comprise the primary sources of revenue for 90% of Americans, it has been challenging to gauge the revenue obtained from investments, which constitutes a significant portion of affluent Americans' wealth. In order to address this issue, Starr and his team conducted a comprehensive analysis spanning 3 decades. Their approach involved examining a vast database of more than 2.8 billion cross-sectoral financial transactions, tracking the movement of both carbon and income throughout these exchanges. By doing so, they were able to derive 2 distinct metrics: the supplier-based and producer-based greenhouse gas emissions of income. Emissions that originate from suppliers are emissions that result from industries which distribute fossil fuels to the economy. It is noteworthy that the amount of operational emissions produced by companies that supply fossil fuels is relatively low, yet they manage to maximize profits by vending oil to other parties who will burn it. Emissions that stem from the actual operation of a business are known as producer-based emissions. One such example of this type of emission would be the emissions from a coal-fired power plant. After obtaining the aforementioned pair of statistics, Starr and his team cross-referenced their records of emission output with an additional database containing intricate information pertaining to the finances and societal makeup of 5 million residents of the United States. This particular database distinguishes between 2 types of income: active income, referring to wages and salaries earned from employment, and passive income, which is generated through investments. The team's findings revealed that more than 40% of the emissions in the United States can be attributed to the income flow of the top 10%. Additionally, the study discovered that the top 1% of earners alone are responsible for generating 15 to 17% of the nation's emissions. Furthermore, the study found that white households who are non-Hispanic had the highest income connected to emissions, and black households had the lowest. It was also found that emissions tended to increase with age, peaking among those in the 45-54 age group before declining. The team conducting the study also made note of a group of individuals who were identified as super emitters. These individuals showed an exceptional level of emission intensity, with almost all of them belonging to the top 0.1% of households. Furthermore, this group was found to be overrepresented in industries such as finance, real estate, insurance, manufacturing, and mining and quarrying. Starr asserts that this study offers valuable perspective on how income and investments can mask culpability for emissions. It is startling to consider that the carbon pollution generated by 15 days of income for a household in the top 0.1% is equivalent to the lifetime income of a household in the bottom 10%. By examining the issue through the lens of income, we are better able to identify which individuals benefit the most from the carbon pollution that is contributing to climate change. This understanding can inform policies that aim to encourage a change in their behavior. Starr and his colleagues emphasize the importance of income and shareholder-based taxation over taxation of consumer goods. According to Starr, a possible solution to encourage the American individuals and corporations who are major contributors and beneficiaries of climate change to reduce their carbon footprint would be through incentive-based divestment, rather than purely altruistic means. By making it financially advantageous for corporate executives, board members, and major shareholders to decarbonize their industries and investments, they would have a greater motivation to do so. The revenue generated from taxes could be utilized to make significant investments in the decarbonization of the nation. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.